So now I'm starting off this look with using the NYX Angel Veil Primer, and I'm using a beauty blender for that. And I like it because the beauty blender has moisture in it, and it kind of pushes it into her skin and gives more of a luminous hydration to the skin. And then I'm going to take the Marc Jacobs Remarkable Foundation, and I really like to use a beauty blender with this foundation in particular because it is very thick and full coverage. And I like to go ahead and use even a dab of oil sometimes with it. It just really evens out the complexion, but I find that it goes on flawlessly with that combo. So that's what I've been really liking lately, and that's what I'm using here on Emma. And again, I'm just pouncing that into her skin all over to give even full coverage. And I like my clients to too. I have smile lines, everyone really does. Is kind of move your lips to the side so you can kind of even out the smile lines and make sure the foundation doesn't get stuck in there and crease on us throughout the day. Just take a little bit more, and I always add foundation to the ears and to the neck, and I usually like to do powder down the neck to even out the complexion, because you can see this is a little bit warm on her, but with our highlighting and using our concealers, it's going to completely even out, and it's going to look like the shade was meant for her. So I just like to keep going back and forth with the beauty blender because it does absorb extra product and it does prevent creasing. So now I'm going to use the LA Girl Pro concealers, and this is just to color correct a little bit around her nose, and then I'm going to take the Tarte Shape Tape concealer, and I believe this is in Fair, and I'm just doing that underneath her eyes, down the tip of her nose, center of her forehead, cupid's bow, and chin. And I'll do the sides of her mouth too to kind of make it just brighter. And again, this is going to help with the color of the foundation. So if your foundation is too dark, you can usually go in with a lighter concealer and just completely even it out and make it look like the foundation was definitely meant for you and your skin tone. But as you can see here, again, I'm using a beauty blender because the Tarte, I love this concealer, this new one from Tarte. It's amazing. It's full coverage, it's beautiful, it's not too thick and doesn't crease. And now I'm taking the RCMA No Color Powder, and I'm just using, again, a damp beauty blender because I find that the water, it just really melts the powder into the skin. And so I'm setting the center of her face wherever I put the concealer. So you want to make sure that the thick, concealers that you put on first, now we're baking her, but you want to set those first so they don't crease and move around on the face. You want to set those first. And then as she's baking, I'm going to go in and also set the rest of her face too, because we want to set all of our liquids for sure. That way they don't move throughout the day, and it's easier to blend everything out. So when I go on and add her bronzers and her blush and her highlighter, it all blend seamlessly and a lot nicer. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking a large powder brush, and I am just using a face powder now, and I believe that's my Kat Von D powder, and I'm just using it all over the face to set all that foundation. Like we said, I'm using it to also dust off the bake that I left on her face. That way when you go back over with a powder, even though now her makeup is set for sure, but it won't have any flashback. You won't have any white casts on your face either when you take a picture. You just are able to kind of get away with baking in your eyes and nothing, no flashback coming. So with the magic of the camera, we went ahead and did her brows off camera, and then we did one eye, and we did one half of the face actually, because we wanted to show you guys, make the tutorial a little bit easier for you. So I'm using the Power Makeup palette that Nikki Tutorials came out with Too Faced, and I'm using my Morphe brush, and I'm using that first color Ivy, and I'm just setting the whole lid because I want a transition shade. So now that's what I'm taking. I think that's something. I just didn't get to see it fast enough, but I'm taking that into the crease now. This is going to act as a transition shade. So whenever we go in with darker shadows, you want a transition shade. So whenever you blend, the darker color is blending into the lighter color, and it just looks seamless that way. So now I'm taking a Morphe brush, or my MAC 224 brush, and it's just a looser, fluffier brush. And this just really helps me to diffuse any lines and make it so I'm able to blend seamlessly and not have to worry about any harsh lines at all. So then I start to build up the color. So I'm taking the darker color in that palette, the darker brown. I'm starting on the outer corner for eye, because you always want to start at the outer corner. And again, I have her open her eye, close it, because I want to see where that shadow's coming through. And I'm going ahead and priming her. I'm using my ring finger because this gold color in this palette is absolutely stunning. But I find that it goes on best with like the warmth at your fingertip. So I use my ring finger when applying. And then I'm just going to go back over what I did to intensify it, just in case I got any glitter where I shouldn't, or if I like it, if I want to keep the glitter more on the inner corner to mid lid, I'm able to take a matte shade and kind of correct that. And I find that doing everything in layers is the nicest and most flattering, especially with eye looks, because you can build up instead of having too much and having to take some away. So again, that's what I'm doing here, and I'm just taking a little bit of some glitter liner and just doing a little bit more on top. It kind of just gives me a base to add a little bit more of the gold shadow to intensify it. And that's what I'm doing here. I'm taking just a flat brush and doing that, and then again, between brush and my fingertip is what I'm doing to intensify that gold shade. You can also spray, you can also mix it with eye drops, you can also use MAC Fix Plus or a setting spray. You can also do that on the end of the brush and just kind of intensify a color or a pigment that way. That really helps. And as you see here, I'm just taking a metallic shade. I think it's the highlighter in this palette. I'm just highlighting her brow bone in the inner corner of her eye. And then I'm taking my other brush that had my transition color shade on. That was the lighter brown. And I'm just going back over and I'm fusing the highlight to the dark color. So that's what it does. It kind of just, that's what that transition's for. So it gradually goes darker to lighter and lighter to dark. And then you see I'm taking a flat brush underneath her waterline here and underneath her lash line because I want to balance out the eye. Especially if you're doing a heavy smoky eye and you're going to put lashes on, you really want to diffuse and blow out the bottom lash line as well, because that way it looks like it's all one look and symmetrical. So I'm just dusting it off again, and now I'm taking the Too Faced Sketch Marker Liner and doing a liner on her eye, and nothing too crazy because I'm also going to put these amazing lashes on her, so I just want it to be thick enough to where it kind of covers the lash band. And sorry I'm kind of blocking the camera right now, but it's not very ergonomic. It's very hard to apply liner to people, so you kind of forget where you are. But I'm not really doing a dramatic wing or anything. I'm just literally lining and framing her eye. And then I'm taking mascara, and again, this is her mascara. This is we're sisters, so I'm not using an applicator for her, but normally on a client I'd use a lash applicator. And this is the Princess, this is the Essence Princess mascara. I mentioned it in my other video, but this one is awesome because they are $4 and you find them at Ulta, and it's an amazing mascara. So now I'm coming in and taking the lashes from House of Lashes, and it's the Sephora collection. They are absolutely stunning, these lashes. And I'm using the lash glue from Duo Lash Glue, and I use a tweezer to apply because that's what I'm comfortable with. And I let the glue dry for like 30 to 60 seconds before I actually apply it to the eye so it doesn't slide around everywhere, because I've learned that the hard way. So now you can see how it's just really opened up her eye and just transformed them. And so now I'm using a Chocolate Solei bronzer, which actually comes in the palette as well. And I'm putting that on her cheekbone and around her temple and her forehead, and then down her jawline as well. And then I'll carve it out. So you can be a little bit more sloppy with your bronzer and kind of get the warmth that you want, and then you can clean it up. And so I'm just using that same RCMA powder, and I'm able to carve it out. And then I'm using the Power of Makeup palette blush that's in there, and there's 2 blushes in there, so I mixed both of them together, and I just put that on the apples of her cheeks and dusted it back into her hairline. And then I'm using Champagne Pop, and I am putting that on the high points of her cheeks and kind of like in a C shape around her eyes to bring out her cheekbones, down the bridge of her nose, Cupid's bow, and chin. And then I'm just dusting away the bake. Well, see how that cleans up that line right there on the side? It just really adds a lot. So I'm using a Too Faced liquid lip, and it's like a lip mousse, and it's this beautiful, beautiful color. And I'm just using that to kind of tie in the blush color with the eyes, because if the eyes stand out, you don't really want to do too much of a heavy lip, because then you've got too much going on sometimes. So yeah, this is pretty much gonna sum up this look and complete it. And we'll just set her with some setting spray for sure. And this, I think that's the Gerard Cosmetics one. And that, guys, that completes this look, and I hope you enjoyed it. And please subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.